In order for a fire to occur, all three elements of the fire triangle have to be present: heat, fuel, and oxygen. So when the fire department shows up with that fire hose and shooting hundreds of gallons of water into your building or your home per minute, they're reducing the heat. And what will happen? The fire will go out.
The fire departments, their number one goal is to save any people that are still in danger from the fire. And then their secondary priority is to save as much of the property as they can, including keeping it from spreading anywhere else. They'll pretty quickly do a lot of additional damage while trying to save other parts of the building.
They may want to break open windows and doors, or they may actually want to cut holes for very specific reasons. One is to allow potentially a means of egress for occupants that are trapped to be able to get out. They may be opening up a wall or a ceiling or a roof structure to allow heat out or to allow smoke out. They can actually be doing what's called a fire break. If we can cut a large trench in between two roof trusses, we can potentially remove the fuel source and the fire will not expand.
Depending on what type of property it is, it can migrate into a large water loss pretty easily. Very common occurrence is 1 or 2 units are very badly burned out, but many more units are damaged from either fire sprinkler systems or the fire department themselves putting water on the building, cutting holes in the roof and then saturating the building. So very easily you could be handling a water loss, right from the get-go.
Once water is added to a building and materials get wet that are not designed to be wet, mold can typically start growing in 24 to 48 hours. Is that dangerous to potential occupants? Absolutely. Mold will give off what's called an MVOC, a microbial, volatile, organic compound. And those MVOCs on certain individuals with the certain types of mold can make them very, very sick.
The first people that are going to go out is an emergency crew that's able to assess the damage and stabilize the situation. So in almost every instance, there's some type of containment needed on a fire job. The containment process is going to isolate the area for safety reasons so that both the occupants in the adjacent areas don't wander into the dangerous zone. And it's also going to keep any secondary damage from occurring.
If your building is full of water, we need to get the water out of that building. If there's a big hole on the roof, a tarp needs to be put on top of that hole, so if it rains, more water does not get into the building.
They may dispatch dehumidifiers and fans, air movers, to dry out adjacent areas that were water damaged from the response or from fire sprinklers. They're definitely going to dispatch some generators. Most of the time in a fire loss, you're losing power. The fire department cuts power.
The second phase is remediation. Remediation can be getting rid of the soot, getting rid of the smoke odor, getting rid of the mold. It could be abatement, getting rid of asbestos or lead that has become dangerous or friable.
Once the estimate and the scope are agreed to, the next phase is to start repairs, and then all the materials are ordered, the schedule is put in place, the repair contract is signed, and we go to work.
In other situations, such as a hospital, such as a government building, such as a courthouse, after you're done with your mitigation phase or while you're doing your mitigation phase, you'll walk through with the insurance company and the adjuster. You agree on what needs to be repaired for your reconstruction, but then you don't stop. You go straight in from mitigation into reconstruction to get that hospital, to get that nursing home, to get that facility back up to its full occupancy and its intended purpose.
Fires are a lot different from a water job or a broken pipe or a sewer backup, that kind of thing. People are annoyed by that. They're inconvenienced by that. They're angry by that. But a fire can be devastating. It's a much different situation. We take a ton of pride in being able not to just restore these properties, but to restore them well and to restore them quickly. That's not something that everyone can do. So we take a lot of pride in that.
While we're not the fire department, many of our team members were volunteer firefighters or had careers as firefighters. While we're not doctors and nurses, many of us come from first responder, EMT, and paramedic backgrounds. So we're here to help. We're here to put people back into their buildings, to put their lives back together, to clean and restore their belongings and their dwellings or their place of work so they can return back to a sense of normalcy.